What is good with you people? LordTool in your motherfucking house. You like that picture? That's a funny ass picture. And I really think that I'm done with Call of Duty. And that's all I'm going to say on that. Enjoy the picture. It is what it is. I guess you could call this like a little mini podcast. I don't know. But anyways, I want to talk about what's kind of been... I've been reading a little bit on the internet about how can I say this? I guess I'll just be blunt. Racism is starting to rise up in the top forms in the media world. And let me explain with like the incident. If you don't know, in America right now, there's this famous cooking lady named Paula Deen, and apparently she said a derogatory word towards a black person, or did racial things, or did something that offended somebody, and they're suing her. They haven't won the lawsuit, but Food Network dropped her. She built her own empire, and now it's all crumbling down at her feet. She's saying she never did anything in a derogatory way, that she never meant to hurt anybody's feelings. That's not how she is, that she's not racist, blah, 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 blah. It's really not a big fucking deal. It's white people problem, right? And then on top of that, you have the George Zimmerman case going on. If you don't know about that, Google it and go to Wikipedia, and you'll find out everything you fucking need to know about that case just about. All right? Or you could just go to YouTube and search George Zimmerman's first media interview. I think it is. It's with Hannity from Fox News. Anyways, well, They say that he killed this guy, and it was mostly it was motivated by race, that he killed him because he was black, and it was a 17-year-old kid that didn't have a gun that got killed. Well, the whole story, that to boil it down real quick, is that he called the police because the black guy supposedly looked suspicious, and then the black guy confronted him and wanted to know why the fuck he was watching him and following him. And then he said the black guy attacked him, banged his fucking head against the concrete, broke his nose, busted the back of his head open, and then finally the gun was pulled and he shot him in the chest, point blank range. Killed the 17-year-old black fella. Terrible news for his family. I don't know the whole situation, but the thing about it is this. Before he's even persecuted, okay, because this is obviously a very touchy subject. You can't sit there and pretend that, okay, well, it was just self-defense because he got beat up. Because what if it wasn't? What if he really did provoke? What if the kid was trying to defend himself? What if they both thought it? Yeah, there's so many scenarios, because the kid could be like, okay, well, he's following me, and I'm just going to confront him or whatever, and then he confronts him, and Zimmerman's like, hey, you little punk, get the fuck out of here, because apparently he's been, a neighborhood watch guy, and Zimmerman said there's been a lot of break-ins going on, and he's been in contact with the police. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. It's a very touchy subject. But in the media, they throw racism at it. I mean, Spike Lee said some shit on them. It's really, it's a tough ordeal, man. And I wish I could say that there was an easier way to escape racism, but there's not. As long as people are racist, people will be offended by it. And it's hard to tell which side to be the bigger person, okay? And the person that's projecting the hate is a fucking idiot in a general sense. We all know that in a general sense. But the problem is that there's something sometimes inside of us that makes us not look at another race the same way. Now, I'm not saying that every single person is racist in the world. What I mean is even everyday living, even your race, because it's considered almost a culture. Your race is a culture. And that's, the way we act is, to who we are. And if you're raised by white people, you're going to be uppity and look like you got a corn cob stuck up your ass. If you're raised by black folk, you're going to have a little bit more swing in your step and You talk a little bit more loudly. I noticed that black people talk a lot more loudly. I talk loud as a motherfucker, but that's just me. Hey, and if you're Chinese, you're going to be real discreet. You're not going to be open about what's going on in your household. The Chinese motherfuckers are secretive as a motherfucker. They could be beating their wives, and their wives their whole life get beaten. Don't ever say a fucking word about it. You know what I mean? Seriously. But I don't want to get into dwell into what different. But what I'm saying is it's easy to profile people. It's easy to direct your flaws, and people broadcast it, because the number one thing that people want to do is hurt your feelings before their feelings get hurt. Okay, and I think the idea that if we continue to have these words relevant in our society, there will never be no forward progress. You understand what I mean? Because as long as someone takes offense, just like that Paula Deen incident, that woman is suing her, honestly, she shouldn't let it bother her, because all it is another person laying an opinion out. If Paula Deen was to say, I don't like turnip greens, but I like collard greens, right? Someone might be like, well, what the fuck is the difference? Well, to her, there's a difference, okay? And apparently, if she does have a little bit of racism, she probably fights it because she knows it's wrong. When you get to a level in your life where you had to hide everything about you, it becomes very difficult when you surround people by you all the time and you get comfortable with them, and then you say things you don't mean to say sometimes. And, hey, let's face it, man. This black lady, she was not playing with Paula Deen on this, and she burned her fucking ass. I truly hope that Paula Deen really is a racist. I really do. And I'm going to tell you why. It's better that she's a racist and that she's not, and this black lady is lying. Because if Paula Deen is not a racist and this black lady is lying on her, all that does is make it where the word is still relevant. That means that lady was using the word as a means to get money, because she knew that people would react because of this stardom that Paula Deen carries behind her, and it divides people yet again. And how do we stop that cycle? Think about it. What can we do? And America's real weird when it comes to racism, because we're very mixed. We have a lot of people wanting to come here from all around the world, okay? You don't hear a lot of people wanting to go to Iceland. You get what I mean? So we have very different many nations in one nation, you could pretty much say. And to have racism is so fucking ignorant in itself. To call somebody a nigger, to call somebody a spit, to call somebody a pike, to call somebody, any fucking name that is derogatory, to use it as an adjective on them is a fucking, it's idiotic. It is, because what you're doing is you're actually putting yourself lower than them by acknowledging the fact that you will use something that we're not capable or able to control. We cannot handle. I could never change anything to be another color. I was born white. You cannot help being born who you are. So to take that and use it as a way to get at somebody, it makes us a very low society on a standard level. We could have everything in the world, but if we don't have just that little bit of self-respect to realize that just because somebody looks different doesn't make them a bad person, if we lose sight of that, then what are we here for? Why even say we love America? Why go help other people? Or is that why we go help other people? Because secretly we feel guilty what we do to our own neighbors? How we feel about people inside of our homes? How many people actually go home and say nigger? That makes me wonder how many of my family members are racist. Because does not seem to stop. They want to put it in the media. Everybody wants to see it. Let's talk about racism. I wish it could change, but, you know, like I said, you can't change what people think. That's the hardest fucking thing, you know. That's why politics never work out well. You know, politics never do. It never works out well. All through history, there's always has to be a revamping, you know. And look where we're at today. We got our president. He's on some bullshit, you know, doing these drone attacks, and, you know, people are going to get tired of, you know, some of the actions that we take, because what we do is we play these little Cold War games, right? We're playing Risk. If you ever heard of that board game Risk, if you ever played it, you know what I'm talking about. All we're trying to do is just push forward and get the space that we need to control what area we need. That's it. That's all it is. That's all it's about. Who has the most land occupied? As long as we're occupying something, we are able to control that area. And that's the way it goes. So you have to ask yourself, are you willing to take that ride with America and stay patriotic and say, hey, I got to turn my eyes to some shit that might offend me, because I want my country to be the best country that it could be. And in order for it to be the best that it could be, I had to, you know, accept certain things that might not seem like they're on a moral level or a Christian level, but more on a hateful level. And as I say this, I hear a helicopter going over my house. Wouldn't that be some shit, people? Huh? No, it's gone now. That's funny, though. There really was a helicopter going over my house. We've been having a lot of activity lately in the air, because there's a airport right down the road from my house, probably about 15 minutes. I live in a real rural area. It's one of them airports where private jets can go. It's not a public airport. I think it's like a fill-up station. I mean, whenever Bill Gates and all them motherfuckers came down to Hilton Head and shit, I seen like 30 jets in one day. You know, so it's pretty cool thinking that, like, you got, you know, motherfuckers flying over your house and shit. You look up like, yo, what's up, you rich motherfucker? You know what I mean? I went way off topic because that helicopter distracted me. See, that's why I try to tell you, I got a short attention span. One thing fucking strays, and I don't even remember what the fuck I was talking about. Oh, yeah, I was talking about America killing people and ignoring it. Right. So, but if you notice, think about this. When there's crime inside of our country, they want to try to find stuff to regulate that, because they don't want that cancer eating on the inside of the country, which makes sense. You don't want people killing people. But if you just make the right enough fuss and you implement the right things into the right people's ears, then there might come a time where banning guns will be a preferred method to making money. Somehow, some way. They always got a thing in their pocket. It's not about, well, we're going to ban them this year. A lot of people don't realize they already had an assault rifle ban, I think in the 90s or something like that. And when George W. Bush got into office, they took the ban off. Or actually, they didn't take it off. They just never renewed it. You know, and that's the bill they're trying to get passed back through. But with all that being said, they take these little things that happen in America. But you got to remember, there's almost 400 million people in America. 400 million fucking people. That is an ass of motherfuckers. And you know what? We still are not taking up. There is so much empty land in the Midwest. It is fucking ridiculous. And we rather be all smushed inside of Chicago, Illinois, or Jacksonville, Florida, or New York City. You know what I mean? You want to be all squished up and shit. Not me. That's why I got me a nice piece of property, because I don't want to be up in that shit, because when shit hits the fan, they're going to be looking to come out here, right? And when you're coming out here, you better have some fucking supplies, give me what I need. If not, get the fuck on, you know? And then your value of your property becomes really valuable, you know? And that's where aristocrats started coming from, was that they bought a bunch of land cheap when it first was discovered, pretty much. And, you know, it started becoming in high demand. People wanted property, you know, so they would go to these, you know, small towns, and they would would go one or two ways. They would kill the person for the land, or they would pay him handsomely, you know. And most of the time, they got paid down around here. And to this day, a lot of them still have them plantations and all that shit. They still got that shit down here, and that's how, like, you know, these politicians, like, you hear a lot of Southern politicians, even from like different states. They sound real Southern. That's because their family came from here. They got money, and they sent them up to Harvard, and then they moved to D.C. and they live there. But they're really from the South most of the time, you know, because it's that old money. The South's got that old money, man. But anyways, you know, enough of all that bullshit. I kind of wandered off. My whole point in this whole little thing that I'm doing is one simple thing. Don't let someone's skin color... just like this, just like what it says on a fucking application. Race, creed, sex, religion, any of that shit should not make you want to judge a person and decide if you like them or not. Get to know them first and maybe decide if you like them or not. And even if you don't like them, don't use something that they can't prevent. You know, don't make them feel bad in their own skin. It's just hurtful, man. They can't help that they were born a different color. If you don't like black people, if you don't like white people, listen, don't spread that shit, okay? Because I have a really good reason for not being racist, and it is bullshit that people are racist out of just pure hate. Grow the fuck up. Man the fuck up. Because I'm going to tell you one thing. In life, you got two things that you need to do. Live and die. In between there is what makes you a memory, okay? You don't want people to think, yeah, that was a racist ass motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, what if you to have a daughter, right? And you died when she was 5 years old. She grows up and she marries a black man. All right, I'm assuming you're white. And she should feel, because this person that she fell in love with, guilt because you didn't approve of her dating a black man. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to put that pressure on anybody or even yourself. Let it go, man. Because I promise you, when you do let it go, you'll realize how many nice people you missed out on. And don't get me wrong, I hate people in general. I think most people fucking, you know, they're annoying, right? But I don't hate them because of their color. I hate them because of their ideas and how they view certain things. It's nothing to do with anything other than that. That's just, you know, what was on my mind, and I felt like sharing it, man. I hope y'all enjoyed this long ass shit. If you stuck it out, man, I appreciate it. Leave your boy some love. Holla at your boy. LordTool out this motherfucker like a motherfucking boss.